Hello everyone. In this lesson we are going to revisit get request to pull a photo and comments in a photo. Currently we have this album gallery, and from here if we go to album we can look at all the photos in that album, and from there if we click to go to a photo, we go to this photo details component, but the functionality for that component is not implemented. So let's get started for that. So in this photo details component we have the ID of the photo, and with that we should be able to get details about that photo, and also if there was already any comments on that photo. So let's try that. So if we go to the photo details component, it's just the basic initial version is there, no dependency is declared, and then we see here that we have previously created the photo service. No, we have not created the photo service, I believe. Let me take a look. So we have album service and we have photos class, but we don't have the photo service. So let's go ahead and create the photo service. So we are using the syntax ng generate service and the service name, so that will create the photo service. And now we can start the application again, and in the photo service, so we just have the basic version of the service. So we'll definitely need dependency on HTTP client, so we can copy that from the user service. And we can import that, and then in this method we'll need in this class, photo service class, we will need method for get photo, and we will also need get comments, and to call this method we'll need the photo ID, Now how do we make get request? Again, we can see the album service or the user service, for example, of that. Let's take a look at the album service. So it looks somewhat like this. First we get the headers, and then we make a HTTP get request. So I'll do that inside photo service. It will complain that we don't have the get headers method. So I'll copy that for now. We'll import the environment. Now the syntax for get comments will be very similar. So I'll just copy that for now. Now we need to take a look at actually how the API looks like. So the API, we can go from the browser to see the API. So it will be under the photo resource because it's photo related APIs, and we have get here for API/photo/ID to get a photo, and it looks like this. The ID is a path variable, so we can try it out from our application by going to the inspect console and copying the ID token value from there. So we'll need that in the ID token, and we'll also need an ID of a photo, which we can get by going to the list of albums, and from there going to an album and then go to a particular photo, and then the URL will show us a photo ID. So we can copy it from there and apply that ID here, and it will give us the details of the photo, which has album ID, thumbnail URL, photo URL, date created, and created by. So it has all these details. So we can make that request. So it will look like this: API/photo/photo ID. So in the photo service, we can make that change. Get photo will be photos/ and then here the photo ID get concatenated. So we got the URL for getting the photos, and then similarly for getting the comments, there will be photos/ID/comments. So similar approach, photos/ID/comments, and then here this ID part is dynamic, so we can use string concatenate to get the ID here. Photo ID. So that will give us the comments. Now that we have these service methods, we can start using them from the component. So in the photo details component, we go to the TypeScript component. So currently in the photo details component, we don't have any dependency. So first of all, we will need dependency to the photo service, but as well as we will also need dependency for the router, because from the route we need to get this photo ID. So let's first do that. So we can see an example of that from the album details component, that here we have dependency on activated route, and then we can get parameter like this. So we can try that in photo details component. So we need dependency on activated route, and then here on the initialization, we're getting from the route, from the parameters, we need to get the photo ID. Let's see in the routing module what is that variable called. So if we go to the routing module for photo details components, it's called photo ID. So we can use that here. So params.get photo ID. Similarly, we should have a class variable for photo ID. So we can call here photo ID string. Now let's just say that got photo ID, and here this dot photo ID, we're going to print that. And let's test that part because we have written some logic so far. Let's see that in action. So now if we go to the photo details component from these recent albums, by going to the album details and then going to the photo details, you will see that got the photo ID. So we got the ID there, correct. Now we can use this ID. So for using this ID, let's add two methods here. Load photo with photo ID and load comments, same parameter. Now, so in this method we're going to call load photo and load comments. So to hold them in this class we need some variable. So we'll get a photo back, the data type for that will be photo, and then we'll also get a list of comments. So let's call this all comments, and then the data type for that will be array of comment. And now here we can start calling the service methods to get the load the photo. So this dot, oh, we don't have a dependency on the photo service here, so we'll go ahead and create that. We can import it, and now we can start using it. This dot photo service dot get photo, and it will require a photo ID, which we have here, and then this is going to return as usual and observable, so we can subscribe to that. And then here when the result comes back is going to be a photo. So for that what we need to do is this dot photo equals to photo, and it's going to complain, so we should just go ahead and typecast it to the right class. And then once we have that, we can actually try to print it to make sure that the photo is there. Console.log loaded photo details. Now for loading comments, it will be very similar. But instead of get photo, it will be get comments, and we're going to get a list of comments. So these dot comments equals to, we're typecasting it into array of comments. Loaded photo comments, this dot, actually for the comments we call this dot all comments. So we're going to print that this dot all comments. Now so we defined those methods, but we actually have not called those methods. So when the ng initialization, we get the router variable photo ID. After that we should actually call these methods. So these dot load this dot load photo with this dot photo ID and these dot load comments with these dot photo ID. And now we can try to test it. So we can go to the list of albums. From there we are going to a particular album, and from there we go to a particular photo, and then now we get the photo details. It's showing up all the details. What is the album ID, who created by, and then also actually like the URL for the photo, but there is no comments there. And the reason for that would be that, like, since we don't have an interface for making any comments, no one created any comments yet. So we should actually from the Explorer create some comments so that we can see this thing in action. So I assume we'll need this ID for creating comments. So I'm copying this photo ID. And then in the Swagger, we have post method for making comments, API/photos/comments. So we can try it out. What we need is a comment. So I can write a comment. Test comment 1 created by, let's keep that part empty and see if the service can auto populate it. And ID, let's create that part empty. And for the photo ID, I'm going to put this photo ID, and then here I need to provide the ID token, which I can get from my console. And now if I execute it, that created a comment. So ID is there, comment is there, photo ID is there, date created, and then created by is auto populated based on the ID token that I provided. So let's go ahead and create another comment, test comment 2, and execute. So test comment 2 is created. Now I should be able to go to the photo. Sorry. So now I should be able to go to that particular photo. So let's copy that photo ID. And then I should be able to see that. Let's go from browsing it. Got photos for this album, and then go to photo. So now we have those comments here. Comment 1, test comment 1, and test comment 2. So now we have all the data that we wanted to show in this page. So we can go and try to print that information. So let's first start with the photo. So we have the photo here. So we can go to the component and we can actually start showing that photo. So let's nest it inside a div, and let's only show this div when the photo is there. And when it's there, we can use the img tag and use the source data binding to give that photo dot. I need to know the variable name. So for the photo, it's photo URL. So photo dot photo URL, that should show the picture. So we are showing that photo here. It's probably taking up a lot of space. Maybe we don't want to show it as big. Maybe we want to show it in a certain size. So we can go ahead and use and also maybe we want to style it using Bootstrap. So Bootstrap rounded corner. Let's try that. So Bootstrap has this class rounded. We can use that for the image. And we can also specify the width to be a specific amount, something like 450 px. So it's showing up in a rounded corner. And if we want to show it in the middle of the page, we can see that example in our login component. We have that example. So we can get that example from the login component that we used this div margin auto to align it. So we can do that here. So it's in the middle of the page. Now we have the photo. So after that, we can show the comments here. So for showing the comments, maybe we can use Bootstrap message or something like that. Bootstrap messages. So that gives Bootstrap alerts. So we can use something like this. So the primary alert looks like this. So let's try that. So here we can also let's nest it inside a div and only show this div if there are comments is loaded. So ng if all comments, and then inside that we can print the comment here using alert primary, and this one we need to loop through the comments. So we should use the ng for directive for that. Let comment of all comments. And in the comment we have comment.comment. So we can use that. So we have an attribute called comment. So here let's use interpolation comment.comment. That's the attribute name. And let's see this in action. So we're showing the comments here, and we are just showing the comment for now. We can actually also show who made the comment, so created by and when they made the comment. So here we can print comment dot created by, and date created. On comment dot date created, and we can also put some break between these two div, and now we can see that in action again. So test comment 1 if the 19@gmail.com. so that the comments are appearing, but the comments are appearing from the older one as showing at the top and then the newer one coming after that. Usually it goes the other way, so we can try to do that. And also this is left align, maybe we can show them in a right align way. So let's try those two things. So for aligning them to the right, we can do text align right. So you can go to the div class, here we can style text align right, and to sort the comments we can do that in the component. So if we go to the component, currently what we are doing here is load comments, and we are just putting it there. So here we're actually getting an array, so we could do reverse, get that array in the opposite sorting order, because currently it is the oldest one is in the top. We want the old one to be at the bottom. So let's see that. Home, from the album gallery we click on an album, and from here we click on a photo, and now the newer comment is coming on the top and the older comments are coming later, and then it's also right aligned. So yeah, we used get request again to load the photo and load the comments. Later we will add functionality to actually make comment here, and then also this user here we can potentially hyperlink this to that user's profile page. Thank you.